Hey, it's time to take a look at the new LEGO City Shopping Street set. Now, as I am an adult fan of LEGO who has a pretty extensive LEGO City layout that is fully based upon the old base plate system, and this set here uses the new road system that is slightly incompatible and different, I am supposed to tell you that this is a terrible set. If I don't do that, then I will be labeled as a traitor to the entire worldwide adult fan of LEGO community and a LEGO shill, even though I buy all my own stuff. Well, that's too bad. The fact is, when I first saw pictures of this set before it was released, I felt cautiously optimistic about it, but now that I've actually built it and I have it here in front of me, I love it. Let's take just a few seconds here to take in exactly what this set really is about and what it looks like, how it's shaped and all. You see there's a lot of road here. There's a lot of sidewalk space. There's a bike lane, which is interesting, and I didn't pay that much attention to when I first saw the pictures. And then there are a couple of buildings which are open on the back and don't have a lot of detail on the inside. That's probably the most disappointing part of this, but when you really look at it honestly and factually, when has LEGO City ever had a lot of detail on the interior of its buildings? Never. Not when it was LEGO Land, not in the best of classic LEGO Town times, never. In terms of the new road system, this set comes with 4 of the ramp pieces to get you down to the ground, 2 of the largest 16 by 16 reconfigurable sections, and 1 crosswalk, which is specially printed and also accepts and lines up properly with the printed 2x4 line tile. Now, this set does come with 2 greater than 6 stud wide vehicles. We're going to look at these closely and individually later, but this is great that it shows the problem, or actually lack thereof, with getting wider vehicles to actually fit on this new road system. This works much better than I thought, significantly better than I thought. You have plenty of room for these vehicles to pass each other on opposite sides of the road, even though each one is, like I said, more than 6 studs wide. This bike lane is done in dark azure, which is a nice color. It adds a really nice stripe of vibrancy, and these are printed 2x4 tiles. I personally do not expect LEGO to keep doing the bike lane forever, or they might change the style. Just from their history, I don't expect them to really stick with that. So if you really like those printed tiles and that color, you've got these 2x6 tiles, which are new for either late 2020 or early 2021 as well, to take up more space. If you like those, stock up on them now, because they might not be around forever. The crosswalk has just a little bit of greenery on the opposite side, and there's a nice little pedestrian crossing sign as well. And then each end of the street has a street lamp or street light pole, which is kind of nice because it has the printed 1x4 tile up there. Not a new piece, but it's nice to see more of those existing, and that represents solar panels on top of the light here. And this is the new 1x2 glow-in-the-dark piece. They've actually used a pretty good material. It works pretty well. Very difficult for me to demonstrate on my equipment, but I'm pretty happy with the performance of that, even though no glow-in-the-dark toy stuff these days works that great or really lasts that long. One of the shops sells bicycles, and the mountain bike is something you can remove and ride around if you want, but here it's used as a sign. That's medium azure for the frame, just a regular yellow for the mountain bike and or off-road dirt bike wheels. And surprisingly, at least surprise to me, the bike on the inside is on a rotating turntable and has enough room to fully spin around. And it's a new color. I didn't even realize that in the pictures, not even for a second. I thought it was the existing pink color that we've gotten before, but no, it's a dark pink. It's magenta. So that's cool. I like to collect different colors of bicycles and such. You have a couple of helmets over here that you can purchase, and this set is using a bunch of new style prints. So that's a brand new print for the keyboard there, and a brand new print for the computer monitor. I personally actually don't like the new style. We're going to see more stuff in that style, but it is cool to get new prints. Just I wish they were a little bit higher in contrast. The screen is actually not bad, but other stuff you'll see. The The larger building is a bakery or bakery-based cafe. There's also a small alleyway between the two. This is a bike rack, and it'll actually hold on to the wheels or the tires of a bike when you bring it in. So that's pretty cool. I've got another of the new prints right there, that 5-unit coin there. Strangely, a new print for that. I thought that the existing one was just fine and wasn't even that old, but they decided they wanted to change it up, so they did. Okay, I actually like the old one better. Once again, a nice little detailing out here. Also, you got the fire hydrant that's using the BB-8 head recolored and with no print on it. Nice little small subtle design change there. Let's look at the back of this building. So you can see there's very little depth to this one, right? So there is enough space for at least a couple of minifigures to represent customers, to be lined up, looking at the baguettes. They do come with both of those colors of baguettes there. And then somebody over here getting checked out. You can also pick up some pretzels right there. And then you can have one person who's an employee behind the counter. Technically, it's more space for figures than we usually get for one floor of a small building, but it's not like as much as this. This is significantly better, even though there's not a lot of detail in here. Still, this is not a great amount of space, that's for sure. The little coffee maker is nice and shows another new print. I don't mind that print. It's a little bit simplified. Doesn't really feel necessary. We already had one that was very similar to that, but I guess I don't know. I guess either there's a new designer or a new design director or something, and folks wanted to come through and put their own mark on something, or a lot of designers were waiting for some unification to occur in graphical styles. Whatever happened, a bunch of things have changed. So this is actually new, and this is actually more useful in my opinion than the existing one that it replaces. Previously we had the gray one, but this actually has a card slot in it, so I like that. Again, pretty low on the contrast. It doesn't look like it has any depth to it either. So not the greatest looking print to me, but at least this one makes sense. The last section is just a miniature park. So there's a bench there and a little bit of exercise equipment with the pull-up bar, and this is like a set of dip bars. And those are both set up so that minifigures can use them. Got a little bottle of water somebody was using, and for the new dogs, there's some poop in the park. Each of these sections over here is built on its own plate, and thus it's pretty easy to rearrange all of this. So I can just pop these up. For this one, I'll need to swap this over back to the crosswalk. But see, I can just slide this down if I want to, and then I can put something else in there. I can connect this here. I'll just swap out the tile. That's all that's required to make it look proper and to fully reintegrate there. So that's nice. So this is on its own plate, this is on its own plate, this is on its own plate. And if Lego builds using that size of plate more in the future, it's just a 16 by 16. If they do more of those, which I expect that they will, including making more without these base plates, I think that we're going to have a nice expandable system in the future. And also, of course, as this is plate-based, these new roads are plate-based rather than base plate-based, they will work really well with the Creator mini modulars and all the Creator 3-in-1 small shop sets and small house sets and such, which have been made in far greater quantities than modular buildings and are far easier to get. There are a lot more of them out on the market, and they will work with this, whereas the modular buildings, which are relatively few and far between, will not work with this without a slight, tiny bit of investment. This car, I don't know, I'm actually kind of torn on this. I kind of like how it looks. I appreciate the striping and the shaping, but it's also much larger than it needs to be. Again, fully 6 studs wide on the main body, and then extends out beyond that, and yet it only holds one single person in there. It's just too big of a car to only hold one person. You can't use the trunk space, can't open up the hood or anything. There's nothing special about it. Most of the build is actually symmetrical front to rear, interestingly, except for just some smaller details. But it's perfectly fine. It just feels like it could have been better. You could have gotten more out of this number of pieces. Incidentally, it's also using a modern chassis piece that gives you most of the lower structure in a single item. The service truck is a little bit more of a proper traditional Lego build, given that it does not have a single chassis piece underneath there, and there's more to it. At first glance, to me, this just looks too plain. It feels like it needs more depth. This should have been stepped out a little bit, or it needs to just have something else going on, especially around the sides, maybe around the front, just a little bit, a little more texture, I think would go a long way for this. But as a toy, functionally, it's pretty good. Oh, the other thing is, this uses the lion's share of stickers in this set out of everything. Sticker, 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 sticker here, sticker on the other side, sticker, sticker, wow. And it's the last thing you build too. So that was definitely a shock to me. But as a toy, this works pretty nicely because it has the cherry picker bucket back here, an arm that works pretty well, rotates around, goes up decently high. You've got a couple of tools here with clips for them. You've got a couple of road traffic control barriers in here, a classic thing that Lego has done for a long time, and they totally make sense. And you have this additional little storage compartment back here with a couple of extra 1x2 plates in the glow-in-the-dark material. So the idea is that you would be able to use these as replacement lights. So if the lights go out in your city, you can go around and have minifigs change them out. So that's actually pretty nice. There's a decent amount of space in here. I don't like the green in here or in the car that you can see, but that's just part of their really simple build and trying to make sure that the instructions are very quick and easy to follow. You can find the pieces very quickly. That's for less patient and younger builders in particular. Keep in mind, of course, this is not an advanced creator expert set, so centered driving position there and just a single steering wheel. At least we do get the little openable doors. A lot of people like those, even though you can't really do anything with them. Minifigs don't really fit through them. At least that does provide a little bit of texture on the side. A fine toy, just a little bit plain looking to me. This tricycle uses, I believe, a new color, the flame yellowish orange or orangish yellow, for this tricycle frame back here, and uses the wheelchair style wheels up front and an old bike wheel at the rear. And this has a little bit of room for cargo, so you can use it as a delivery vehicle. This doesn't use too many pieces, and I think it's pretty nice. You can also put a child figure in there, somebody with short legs. Of course, somebody with full-size legs would fit as well, and you could take these pieces out if you want. Use it as a bicycle taxi, a little cycle rickshaw. Figures exist. There are 6 of them in the set, and they are varied. They remind me very much of the original people packs, the original city people packs from back in my day, back in the old days when Lego used to be good. Wait, if these remind me of when Lego used to be good, then does that mean that Lego is good again now? No, that's not possible. All cynicism aside, this is a very nice selection of figures that I personally like a lot. There's a lot of reusability here. There's a lot of swappability where you can use just the pieces of minifigs from this set, move things around between them, and create new custom characters. There's a lot of compatibility, not a lot of stuff that's really specific to one character who has to have one and only one job, or function in the city. I guess the one exception would be this guy because his torso and legs do go together, but of course you could just change that out. It's gender neutral, thankfully. This one is not, but most of them are, so you can swap maximally. That just leaves us with a look at the spare parts, which do include a spare piece of dog poop, which is what everybody really wants this set for, and you get to see a couple of the little 1x1 tile prints a little bit better here. And finally, the sticker sheet looks like this once it's used up. And look at this. All but one of these stickers here. So like the number 3 sticker, ignore that. All the rest on this side of the page were all used on that one truck. The rest are spread throughout the entire set. The one thing I really don't like about this set kind of has nothing to do with the set itself in terms of its build and design and all. It's the price. I paid $80 US for this, 80. Looks like the price in the UK at least is better, relatively speaking. I'm glad somebody gets it for less of a ripoff, but $80 US. No, I don't like that price at all. Now, it is very easy if you want to say, well, it's because of the new road plates. And yes, the new road plates, they're very large pieces and they certainly add to the cost of producing the set. They do not add as much to the cost of a set as the old base plates did, which were made of a different material. And as far as I've heard, were actually produced outside of regular Lego factories. These are just regular injection molded ABS pieces. It's what Lego specializes in, so they're actually pretty efficient at that. But fundamentally, the fact is, a lot of the best Lego sets, best and or biggest Lego sets with some of the most wonderful potential, really, for city building have been overpriced. Just look at City Square. Is that what was? Yeah, I think it was called City Square. Just last year, that big set was $200. $200. That was before these existed, these road plates. So you can't blame these road plates for that being $200. You can't blame these road plates for one of my favorite recent memory Lego City sets, the service station. Really nice little petrol gas station, $90. I think it was smaller than this. I'm pretty sure. It was definitely smaller than this. And it didn't have the road plates because they didn't exist then. It didn't have road at all. It had less stuff than this. It was $90 back then, which means that today it would probably be like $100 or something. The city line has historically had, in recent history, some of the most overpriced sets out there. I believe that they are consistently pricing them to be put on sale by retailers. And that seems to line up with what actually happens. But when sales don't happen, then we're stuck with $80 for something like this. And $80 is too much for this. Road plates are not. And I'm not going to accept, well, it's because of road plates that city is ruined. Everything is, Lego's overpriced. Too many things in Lego are overpriced. But moving past all that, okay, that's the price is too high, but the set is awesome. When going through this, I haven't yet really told you about the experience for me, how I felt about this. I've shown you things, but I haven't told you how I felt about this. As I put this together earlier today, I enjoyed it. I felt good connecting these buildings to the road plates. I felt good creating the roads, putting the little tiles in there, adding the little ramps at the end, and realizing that, oh, well, this is great. Now I've got the ability to just drive a car up and down there. I can put a crosswalk wherever I want. This is expandable. I can take those the little mini creator sets and just butt them right up to an edge. I can add my own tiles and connect them, or they don't have to be connected, but I can do that. It's all in system. These buildings are not great, but they're not particularly worse than anything that's been in the city line previously. If anything, they have more detail than the stuff from what I consider to be the golden age of Lego. I'm going to stop talking about that eventually, but it's my main reference as an adult fan. Stuff that I liked the most as a kid, stuff that I look back on now as an adult and still like the most, stuff that had the most classic Lego soul. There are more details here than those old sets had. And they look pretty good from the outside too. I do wish they were enclosed. The vehicles, this one is, again, a good toy. This one, still, I like the look of it, but I feel like they could have put that part budget into other things and made this a relatively simple 4-wide car, and it would have been just as good. It would have been just as useful. It would have been perfectly fine. Selection of figures, definitely good. 2 bikes, cool colors. Got the medium azure here and the new dark pink. That's a little something special, little surprise for me, little gift. The new prints are going to take some time for me to get used to. Some of them I think I'll be okay with. Some of them I probably never will be okay with because they're just so simplified and seem a little bit unnecessary to do that full redesign. But these things, they're better than I thought, better than I expected. They look good. Whether you use the glow-in-the-dark feature or not, it's still cool. I just like this set. I really like this set, and I look forward to getting more of the sets that are built not only with the new road plates, but with this new design ideology, things that will fit into this system. Even again, if they're just these buildings, like just these by themselves are good. They've got space in the front for minifigs to walk around and stuff. It's so important to have space just for figures to interact. The bike lane is cool. I like the color a lot, and I do like the graphic work done for the printed tile there. Again, I don't know if they're going to do that for very long, so that'll kind of suck if they encourage you to build up city, miniature city spaces that have bike lanes, and then they just stop making them altogether at some point. But yeah, I think I've shared pretty much everything that I see and that I feel about this now. So I will turn it over to you if you want to see the build process. You're not going to be able to feel my experience through that, but maybe you'll be able to create some of that feeling for yourself, seeing how it actually went together, either in real time or in the speed build time-lapse form. So check out one of those if you'd like to. I look forward to hearing what you think about this set right here, and I'll talk to you again soon.